G'day, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Major victory. Huge win. This is something I've been waiting 15 years to get to, and we did it on Sunday night, the 6th. 6th of August, that is, yeah. We went out, our very, very best players, and we took down the god of alcoholism. Now, for those of you who don't know who we are, I represent several groups of astral travelers who fly at a very, very high level, and we fly around and we do two things. We aid Gaia in her ascension, and we beat up the bad guys who want humanity to devolve. And one of these characters is the god of alcohol. Now, if you've been watching my channel, I've made a few videos on this guy. He's come up a few times. And he's been one of my long-term objectives. I always wanted to get the god of alcohol, because the god of alcohol is a demon, and he's in is in Satan's inner circle. Al Ghul is his name. If you don't know, you haven't heard me talk about him before, I'll talk about him now. Al Ghul is the name of a Muslim deity. Where the Muslim and Christian empires met is in Spain, and there his name is alcohol. In English, his name is alcohol. And when we say drinking spirits in English, it's not figurative. Back in the day, they knew exactly which spirit they were drinking, what spirit they're inviting into their body when they drink. And the Muslims know him very, very well. They know Al Ghul very, very well. Not Al Gore, the presidential candidate, you dropkick. Al Ghul, A-L-G-H-U-L, Al Ghul. For the Muslims, he is the god of chaos, mayhem, destruction, fermentation, destruction, and rot. Now, the reason the Muslims don't invite him to any of their parties, the reason you can't get a beer in the Muslim world, is because they hate his guts. They think he's a terrible person, and they don't want him to be part of their culture, which makes plenty of sense. Because after speaking with the previous head of organization for Al Ghul, the previous CEO of alcohol, the god of alcohol, he said that all he sees all day, every day, is when the human drinks enough, then they go into blackout. And when they go into blackout, then one of his minions gets to use that body. The demon that is in that drunk is the one who is running the body, not the human, but a demon. And they get that certain amount of time to run around and cause as much mayhem as they can. And they do. And he said, as the chief of all of that mischief, he's stuck in a room, like a room full of TVs, and he just has to re-experience every argument, every fist fight, every arrest, every car accident, every trip and fall, all of the crazy things that happen to drunk people. That's all he experiences all day. So he asked me for euthanasia, and I said, but you've got to put all of your people in one place so I can get them all. And Lucifer got wind of it and tortured the previous chief of staff for alcohol to death, and replaced him with one of his lieutenants, who strangely enough didn't want to talk to me at all. But our team flew out, and we noticed we attacked from a few different angles and many different features, not least of which is the feminine aspect, which is almost unknown unless you're technically diving deep on the alcohol and deities. And it was supporting the masculine to be loud and aggressive and rambunctious and reckless. And once we deleted that, once we took that feminine aspect away, because she was a nasty girl on her own, That's when he became as soft as cookie dough. And we were able to capture and dissolve 260 million of his minions, because that's how many drunks there are on the earth, people who are permanently affected by alcohol. 260 million people he infected. And I share this with you today because I got my first report back last night of a drunk who, after drinking solidly for years and years and years, and the first time in anybody's memory, he turns around and goes, I just didn't feel like drinking today, so I'm sober. And that's the hope that we have, is that without that minion in people, and I've treated alcoholism professionally for quite some time, and when you take that particular spirit out, when you take one of Al Ghoul's minions out of the human body, the craving for alcohol disappears. And what I think's happened is that we have defeated alcoholism across the globe. We also took out Al Ghoul's interface or deep connection with anger. You see, him and anger work together in a very volatile mix. And what we saw, how he uses anger, and it looked like a lightning strike, looked like a thunderbolt comes through. And that person goes from calm and gentle to absolute rage like that. And so we disconnected alcohol from anger, and we also disconnected alcohol from despair. And what you won't hear from your average alcoholic is that deep down, there is an incredible emptiness, a sadness, a despair, that the world is barren and dry as a bone, and there's nothing to do except phase out of it or black out of it, get the hell away from it. And that's the only joy that they can find in their life. Kind of sad, eh? Well, that has been disconnected, so that those people who drink, who have been drinking, lose their connection to that kind of despair, that bleakness. There's also a very serious connection between Al Ghoul and water. Strange, but we disconnected him from water as well. Now, the process of fermentation is not in and of itself entirely evil. It has a purpose. It's part of the natural cycle of life. It has medical applications. And it's our opinion that sometime in the distant past, that Satan captured what we would call a neutral spirit or a neutral function of the matrix, and turned him evil. So fermentation got infected with evil and became the god Al Ghoul. And so what was left there is about 5% of its original mass, or when we met it. There's scraps of it still flying around, but none of it is any longer infected with evil. And so we don't know if there's a change in the scientific process of fermentation or not. We'd love to hear about that in the comments if something has fundamentally changed in that chemical process, because we believe it just might have. But our main goal is actually to end alcoholism, and it looks like we've done everything we know how to do in order to make that happen. You see, rehabs have about a 5 or 10% chance that that person will stay sober 1 year after their treatment in a rehab. And it's no different from the 12-step program, the anonymous programs, in that, within 12 months, still only 5% of people who ever come into contact with the program or join the program are still sober 1 year down the track. These are not effective treatments at all, although they are sold as such. And psychology is completely at a loss. And I'll quote an old story of Carl Jung, when somebody came to Carl and said, look, I've stopped drinking for 3 days. I really want to stay stopped. I'll do anything you tell me to do in order to stay sober. What have you got? And Carl Jung made a very sad statement. He says, I have no idea. I don't know what to do. However, in my studies, there have been a number of isolated individual cases where people have stopped drinking over the long term. And that is because they got religious. They had a religious epiphany, or they found a counterbalance, a religious counterbalance to the evil in them. They found they got contact with good. They learned how to pray real fast, and they lost. And that counterbalanced the insertion of evil that Al Ghul was good at. And so most treatments are ineffective, useless, pointless, and a waste of money. And the people selling them know that. But, you know, we're very, very good at treating that sort of thing if you're interested. We're also very, very good with extreme mental health cases, things like schizophrenia and such, where the psychological fraternity has never been in contact with demon kind. They have no idea what it is. But that one of the symptoms is to speak in religious mumbo jumbo, which we understand is the demon talking about where it comes from, what the rules are, how it plays, what the environment is. And it comes out as religious mumbo jumbo from the human being, because the demon's not trying to teach them anything. It's just trying to occupy them and talk nonsense to them, talk garbage to them. But for us humans, that stuff is rare and interesting. So some people listen. But psychology just cannot get its head around the concept of demons. And I will also say the scientific world has no opinion as to whether they're real or not. The study's never been done. There is zero academic work that has been done into the concept of demons. There are isolated writers who are writing not as part of an academic structure, but because that's one of the things that they experienced in their life, is they discovered this, that, and the other thing about demons in their particular work. And a lot of it comes across as shamanic. You'll find the stuff if you're looking for it. But demon kind is an unknown quantity. And our teams have been working very, very hard for many, many years to shut down their influence. And today is a major, major victory. And I can't tell you what a big deal it is to me after being part of the Alcoholics Anonymous program and just listening to the constant misery come out of the mouths of the other people who are in those rooms. This under the influence of alcohol, and not being drunk, I'm saying the god of alcohol, under the influence of Al Ghul, like their life is just relentless torment. Nothing works, and you know their head gets anything that's good for them gets turned around and turned against them, because that's what Al Ghul does. That's what demons do. But yeah, I'm rambling a bit off track now, so back to the main story. And one of the other things that this tells us is that our group can walk into Satan's inner circle, assassinate one of his primary prize possessions, one of his primary staff, and take his whole organization out. And there's nothing that he could do to stop us. And what this means is that we will advance, 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 and remove this scourge from the earth. It's entirely feasible that we spell the end for evil on earth. It's entirely possible that that's how things go. And today is the first step in that. And, you know, and if we receive the kind of support that we would really like, then there's no reason why we can't do the same thing for opiates and for ice and for, well, any number of other drugs, really. And weed's on that list too. Now, it's very, very early days, and this work is without precedent. This event has never been seen before. So we really don't know what will happen, but we're starting to see what we would expect to happen. And so if you own a pub or an alcohol brand, or you're in the booze industry, sorry about that. But and that's going to be the price, is that industry will decline, to say the least. However, what we do have is the number of families that are broken up, the number of people who are in jail, the number of car accidents, the number of fist fights, and all of the drama that comes with being drunk. Over. It's done. And I think the world and human culture will be a much, much better place without it. I really want the world to be a better place. It's the joke's been made that, but Al, you had a career where you could where you could just take these alcohol demons out one at a time, and you'd be busy for the rest of your life. Yeah, that would be entertaining. I'd probably get bored of it, but I'm sure I'd become rich. But we can do better. We can do a lot better. And if this event is what I think it is, and the signs are looking good, then this is our introduction to the globe as the Jedi Council. This is who we are, what we do. This is the change that we can make for humanity. Now, when I talk about the Jedi Council, what I am saying is that this impact on the world is our way of introducing ourselves, our way of letting the world know that we exist. Now, if you listen to Alex Jones and quite a few others, then there is it's a satanic theme, or the religion of the elite is Satanism. And, you know, they've been very, very successful. Like the key thing, the ace that they've always had up their sleeve is black magic, always. And we are not aware of any white magic crew who has deliberately tried to stop them, who has spent their time, energy, effort, and prayer in preventing them from enacting their maniacal goals. But you know, this YouTube channel is a log of our efforts against them, and we've been working very, very hard for a long time. So I do hope that you see that the Jedi Council has a place, has a use, and will gain your support. You know, for those of you who are serious about what we might do and how we might overturn this world and what we might do in terms of magic afterwards, then, you know, you really should get in touch with me, and we'll have a chat about that. If us humans cannot take control of the magical field around Earth, or the energetic field around Earth, then some group of galactic cowboys, be they reptilian or otherwise, are going to show up and do it for us. If we can't count our own money, somebody else is going to do it. If we can't look after our own planet, somebody else is going to do it. And to my knowledge, this Jedi Council is the best candidate to do so. And that's what we're aiming towards. That's where we want to get to. And so let us introduce ourselves as the Jedi Council, and you're sure to see our fingerprint on a lot of the good things that happen on Earth in the near future. All right. So if you're experiencing a sudden loss in interest in alcohol, please put it in the comments. If someone you know has a sudden loss in interest for alcohol, let us know. We would really love to hear about it. Because what it does is it tells us that we're doing the right thing, and that what we're doing is effective, useful, helpful, and a good idea. Like and subscribe to the channel. There's going to be lots more good stuff coming. All right. Love to you. Ciao for now.